away from suing Noah. But there is some good.
Lawsuit update for
And I
you.
gotta pee.
It's over. Ethan Klein has dropped his defamation lawsuit against me. He filed a motion to dismiss the case with prejudice, meaning that he cannot sue me for the claims in this lawsuit ever again. It's over. We won. I mean, kind of. We didn't really win anything. In fact, I actually lost like a bunch of time and money and peace of mind and all that. But I am no longer being sued, so I guess we'll take it. This lawsuit and the legal threats leading up to it have been a massive year-long headache. I'm super glad that it's over. I can get back to just focusing on videos, and we also get to donate the money we raised for my legal defense, which, after subtracting the fees, should still be about $100,000. Unfortunately, right now, GoFundMe is holding the funds for review. We've given them all the information they need, and we haven't heard back. It's been super frustrating. Hopefully, it gets cleared up soon, and once it does, I'll be posting an update on community posts or maybe a video. In the meantime, consider donating to Project Sarsour, which is where the money will go. It's my friend Ahmed's project. He lives in Gaza, and the money will go to help families there and a number of other projects. Anyways, so the first question you might have here is, what happened? Why did he?
I just enjoyed doing this over and over again.
Right
It's
now,
kind of
I
weird.
don't have a firm answer for that. Ethan hasn't commented publicly and did not respond to my requests for comment. But now that it's been dropped with prejudice and with no confidentiality clauses, I'm able to talk openly about everything that happened. And I think by the end of the video, we should have a little bit more of an idea as to how this all played out the way that it did. So first, a brief recap. In March of last year, I released this video, The YouTubers Who Backed It. It was a response to a video from Ethan Klein called Content Nuke Hassan Piker. In that video, I highlighted a bunch of statements from several prominent content creators and used those statements to demonstrate the way that the Western media apparatus has helped to normalize Israel's in Gaza. Things like atrocity propaganda, misinformation about groups resisting Israel, and Zionist historical narratives. Ethan Klein responded to the video by immediately threatening to sue me for defamation. He issued a cease and desist and demanded that I take the video down and apologize, or else he would sue me. He dedicated a few episodes of his podcast to issuing these sorts of threats.
All he has to do to avoid getting sued is apologize for everything he said and did. He started his second video by saying Ethan's threatened to sue me. It's not a threat. I'm going to sue you. Noah's
Not gonna say it, but this kind of arrogance is one that you only achieve after Zionism rots your brain.
said in his second video, Ethan's threatening to sue me. Have fun with that, I guess. He said, well, I'm about to have fun with it, and unfortunately, I don't think you're going to be having much fun with it.
But I kept the video up. After speaking with several lawyers, I felt pretty confident that I'd be able to defend against a defamation suit. And I also believe that the cease and desist was just a scare tactic, as they're commonly used, to get me to delete my criticism from the internet. The deadline passed, and I didn't hear anything from Ethan, and it seemed like everything was good. But then, a year later, 2 days before the statute of limitations was up, Ethan actually filed the lawsuit. He alleged that I defamed him with 6 statements, including the title and thumbnail of my video and various other claims that I made. He was seeking unlimited damages and a jury trial. When you get served a defamation lawsuit, you have 30 days to respond or face default. So I spent the majority of my time the next few weeks looking everywhere to find a lawyer just to file a reply. I was being quoted upwards of $100,000, which is obviously pretty stressful because I don't have that kind of money on hand. So I ended up doing a fundraiser, and I fundraised as much as I could. We got not quite to the goal, but over $100,000, which I thought was pretty good. That's the deadline.
Imagine if you sued a YouTuber for a video you didn't like, the entire internet would turn on you. It would be world news. Yes, 100%. Not even a question. And we know already because I joked about suing More Pegaslav. I joked about suing More Pegaslav, and More Pegaslav's defenders went crazy. They went crazy mode. They went crazy mode. Every single person that had defended Ethan Klein's vexatious litigant status, his frivolous lawsuits that he actively pursued simply to bury poorer content creators, much smaller content creators who had hurt his feelings, the paperwork, costly litigation, and destroy their lives. Every single person that had supported that unconditionally turned around and was like, oh, how can Hassan do this? How can Hassan do this? More Pegaslav is simply making 300 plus videos on him to hold him accountable.
and approached, and I started to get even more stressed out. I still hadn't found a lawyer. That's when I got in touch with Deborah Drews. Deborah Drews is an LA-based attorney who specializes in defamation law, and honestly, I owe her my life. She's an incredible lawyer, and from our first conversation, she showed genuine interest in this case. She was also willing to work at a major discount, which is what made it possible to donate most of this money that we raised. So anyways, I retained Deborah's counsel, of course, and we began working on our response. Our approach with every single place online I've seen people talking about this are all clowning on Ethan. The only place I've seen him still getting defended is, of course, the LSF thread that was posted about this law. Of course, the holdover space for Epstein brigaders. I don't know why they choose to live in an alternative reality. I don't know what purpose that serves, but hopefully moments like
Getting
this
rid of the
will
armor.
snap at least some of these people out of that. You know what I mean? Moments like this is where expectations meet reality, and it shows
Let's go.
people that their little Discord servers or their brigaded subreddits are actually totally leading them astray, moving them into this deeper pit of despair, getting them to see a completely separate version of events. Was going to be to file an anti-SLAPP motion. The SLAPP stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public
I
Participation.
really like
The
ICE,
statute was designed to prevent
but
people from weaponizing
I think the bomb is more powerful, so let's just stick with the bomb.
that cannot sustain a long-term legal battle. A successful anti-SLAPP motion can dismiss
It's a glowing bomb. I like the glow. I like looking at the glow.
and force the plaintiff, in this case, it would be Ethan, to pay the defendant's legal fees. As our work on the case
Here, now we got some
started
ice.
to feel like we put together a pretty strong case. But then, just a few days before the filing deadline, Ethan Klein reached out to us looking to open up settlement talks. Now, at first, I was taken aback. Ethan sued me, made me pay a bunch of money, stressed out me and my family, and now he's coming to me to settle? No, we're not doing that. That's not happening, especially given how strong we felt our defense was. But Deborah, in her infinite wisdom and expertise, suggested that we didn't know what their terms would be. Maybe they really wanted out of the lawsuit, and maybe their offer would reflect this, and it could be good for us. If settled immediately, it would eliminate all risk, and it would free up the money that we'd raised to be donated right away, depending on the specific.
So, you're stupid if you actually believe Ethan is going to suddenly change. Did I say that?
Blast boost and crit
Did I even
chance.
imply that? First of all, for Ethan to even begin the process of change and restitution, he has to, one, drop the numerous other lawsuits that are still ongoing, Morgan being one, Denims being another one, because he said he was going to pursue an appeal with Denims.
This armor
I
could
think there's
turn out to be
also random
helpful.
anonymous Redditors that he's trying to sue as well.
Let's give it a shot.
I think that there's that lawsuit too, so he needs to drop those. He needs to apologize to every single person he has sued. He needs to probably offer financial compensation to Casey Tron for what she put Casey Tron through. Okay? He's not going to do any of that. I don't think. He's on.
All right, now it's time to re-roll.
100%. That could be.
All right, this looks
So
good.
we agreed to file an extension.
I don't expect him to ever apologize to me, and to
Maybe
be
I should have
honest,
kept the
I don't
dynamite.
care about him apologizing to me. Okay? He spent, obviously, even in all of these frivolous lawsuits, he literally spent hours and hours and hours pouring into the paperwork to talk about how I'm like Adolf Hitler and shit like that. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds insane, and you're like, oh, why are you making this about you or whatever? But all of the lawsuits all of his lawsuits, calling me the Grand Mufti of Palestine, shit like that. I don't give a fuck about him apologizing to me. I don't want it. I don't care. You can spare it, okay? But apologize to these other people whose lives you helped. You used your wealth. You used your unfathomable war chest, your unbelievable amounts of wealth to go after all of these people, and you ruined their lives. Maybe one day we'll be able to talk about the actual stuff that happened.
I don't really need money anymore.
But nothing could have prepared me for what they came up with.
Maybe I should keep some money coming in if possible.
Ethan Klein wanted a public apology on my primary YouTube channel and Twitter account.
For the record, this is, let's just say, this sheds a little bit more light into the Casey Tron apology, don't you think? Remember when I talked about how like that was a ISIS hostage style video, and everyone was like, "No, Casey's being sincere." Yeah, this is exactly what he did with Casey Tron. Clearly
Approved by Ethan, which would that he and his wife Hila have both supported.
Again, pre-approved by my client before public release, as in Ethan gets to pre-approve the release, the apology release. Apology for saying.
Alright, it's a little crazy, but I think I should get rid of a weapon and just up my armor a little higher.
He disagrees with my client does much to defend Israel. Palestinian cause. He also wanted me to remove 6 separate videos from my YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure it's all the videos I've ever talked about. Yeah, that's exactly what happened with Casey Tron, by the way. So even though we all assumed that this proves Casey Tron's gunpoint apology was just written by Ethan, and White had all these lines about how Hassan didn't support me, or worse than that, an apology for Asmongold. Ethan Klein, through this litigation, got Casey Tron to apologize to Asmongold. A pre-approved Asmongold apology. He looked at that and he checked it off. He looked at that and he demanded it, and he got it, and he said, "This is great." Freaked. Imagine suing people
Damn,
for financial
I thought my armor was better than that. I should have stuck with that damage.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, well, these things happen.
Which includes several videos that are unrelated to the claims made in the actual lawsuit. He also wanted a non-disparagement
Defeated.
clause, which would bar me from ever publicly criticizing Ethan again. They did include a potential provision to reimburse my legal fees to be donated to a mutually agreed upon charity. So that's great, but only if my public apology included an acknowledgement that Ethan replenished these funds so that they can go to charity. So these terms were, let's just call them inadequate, hard.
I would call them, Israel style. Like the level of arrogance, the sheer entitlement, the hubris, it is unfucking bearable, dude. Straight up deploying the fucking money cannon at content creators he knows he can bully. So narcissistic
For us to accept, so we made a counteroffer. No apology, no confidentiality, full reimbursement for all of our legal fees, no deleting any videos outside of the ones which were about the lawsuit, which we felt would become irrelevant if it was settled, and then one public statement which would read as follows. Ethan and I disagree about a video I made in response to his video Content Nuke Hassan Piker. He thinks my video says one thing, and I think it says another. Both of us believe that YouTube is a place for free expression and recognize the right to criticize each other's views. So we've decided to end our dispute amicably. Keeping it out of court frees up funds to help families in Gaza right now. We sent these terms over and didn't hear back, so we prepared to file our anti-slap motion. It was all ready to go. I was kind of excited. Honestly, Deborah cooked. But then a few days later, Ethan filed the motion to dismiss with prejudice. And that was it. So back to that question.
Alright, so I need to reroll a few more times.
Back out. Because he hasn't publicly commented and he didn't respond to my request for comment, we can really only speculate. Maybe he did have a change of heart. Maybe he doesn't want to be the one that hands out lawsuits left and right to silence critics. And maybe if he were to admit this publicly and apologize for wasting my time and money and acting like a freak throughout the whole process, then maybe I'd believe that. But until then, I think there are more likely explanations. See, Ethan has stated publicly that his many lawsuits against smaller creators have damaged his reputation.
I don't want to be the fucking litigious.
You didn't want another L? You know the saddest part about the story? This is because of Denims and Moist Critical. That's it. Because Denims was able to secure the funds to pursue and force this into court, and that decision that came down got someone like Moist Critical to cover it. Now, if Moist Critical or Philip DeFranco or numerous other people in the commentary sphere looked at the situation from the start and started criticizing Ethan, perhaps Ethan would have felt humiliated far before it got to this point, okay? Perhaps if other content creators had criticized Israel,
Oh, what happened?
well, that too, perhaps if other content creators had been not too shy to, one, criticize Israel, learn more about what Israel was doing, and two, criticize Ethan and learn more about what Ethan was doing, perhaps then Ethan probably would have backed away. Or, oh, sorry, Moist Critical only looked at the lawsuits because of Ethan suing iDubbbz. You're right. That's true. That's true. I fucked it up. You're right. And by the way, I'm not talking about like in the last, because Moist is done.
I'm not taking any of these.
Coverage on Israel. I'm talking about from the start. I'm talking about from the start, because there were a lot of people in the commentary sphere who are still on Ethan's side. For the record, okay, they're still on Ethan's side. I'm
Damn
genuinely
it.
grateful for
Another,
Moist Critical, not
this is the
only,
anomaly that always beats me.
criticizing Israel
All right, I got nothing useful here.
Especially in the last year or so. But even
Nothing
taking the time
useful
out to
here.
cover the iDubbbz,
Could throw in another burger, I guess.
because that was absolutely what I think caused Ethan to
Nothing useful
he
here.
realized that
There we go.
the commentary sphere was going to turn on him. Many of the commentary sphere, the smaller orbiters, are still firmly on his side, but there is a growing movement of people who
Okay,
are
that was not
very
helpful.
critical of
We're
the shit
dead.
that he's doing. Why hasn't he gone after you at all? Doesn't it make him look like a hypocrite that he won't take you on? I mean, he has tried. I think part of the problem here, I'll tell you why. You want to know why? Because he tried and he fucking failed. Because I refuse to watch the fucking dumbass video that he made. Okay? Not only do I have money, not only do I have a much larger audience and a lot more.
Yeah, he can't sue
and
Hassan.
much
Hassan would get a good
larger,
lawyer.
a group of haters, obviously, including fucking entire governments at this point. But he tried.
He was looking for small targets, easy prey.
He tried so fucking hard. He made a whole video about it. This was a cause for celebration. But the reason why he couldn't sue me in court was because he thought he could get me to react to the content nuke. And then he thought he could sue me for reacting to the content nuke. And I never reacted. And for the longest time, he tried to get, you're scared. You're terrified of Ethan's intellectual prowess. He's destroyed you in the marketplace of ideas, you fucking terrorists. For a whole ass year after the context nuke came out, for a whole ass year, people kept coming in here to be like, you're terrified. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to play this fucking game. I've already reacted to the context nuke before it even came out because it was the exact same commentary that I had heard a million times over because Ethan just basically scoured the same subreddits. It was all coming from the same place.
Let's
And
put the swords
ADL
together.
uses the same database. Ethan used the same database. It was all coming mostly from Epstein. And I had already reacted to it. So if you wanted to hear my fucking perspective, you could go and watch that, right? And I told people this at the time. Nobody
Epstein,
wanted
wow.
to listen. Nobody wanted to watch because they just wanted drama. For them, this wasn't about a genocide that was ongoing. This wasn't about criticism. But that's the reason why. That's the reason why he couldn't fucking catch me in a fucking lawsuit. And he also blew his load by basically begging on camera to get me to fucking react to it. It would have been hilarious after all of that if he turned around and tried to sue the subject of his enmity, the subject of his video. He literally cried on camera that I wouldn't react to his video. He
Okay.
straight up fucking crowed real tears. And
All
then
right, hold on a second. I'll be right back. I'm back. Let's do this. There we go. All right.
all was said and done, I did react to it. It took 9 hours to react to like half of it. You can go watch the video if you want. It's on my YouTube page. Yeah, he crowed. He crowed real tears. But if you're wondering why he never ended up suing me, it's because it failed. Remember back in November 2024 when we watched Stalkman on stream constructing the tweets with Boner Box that would lead to the Twitch's banning Israel IPs crusade? It was all a joke, and look where that went. It wasn't even a joke. He lied. And it failed.
This asshole that's suing everybody. Like I know what people think of me. I know what people say about me. I'm not a moron. I know like the consequences of doing all these lawsuits and stuff.
The biggest backlash so far came very recently when he was criticized by a prominent YouTuber, Charlie of the channel Penguin Zero. And these videos got
Penguin
millions
Zero
of views.
Ethan, of all people, should be very familiar with how defamatory lawsuits can be exploited by those with a lot of money. He was the guy that
Oh,
always
that's
fought
funny. The Penguin
on
Zero.
the right side of these kind of battles. And now in this case, I really think he's lost his way in that regard.
Ethan also just lost a lawsuit against the streamer Denims. He sued her for copyright infringement, and the ruling on this one was just brutal. The judge ruled against Ethan while citing his own previous case of defending against a
For literally cost so many small content creators their ad revenue, and people blamed you for talking politics. I know. This man tried to trigger an apocalypse.
Said I was
situation
lucky,
in the
but I don't
world
see how this is that lucky.
and saw a little bit of success in the interim.
It could be
because,
worse, I guess.
Twitch had to like reroute certain things, like create a political alignment. There were like Iranian content creators that lost their revenue in the process as well, their ad revenue. He did that
Nice.
shit.
I
And
want
then
this for sure.
there were dumb fucks who had the audacity, who blamed me for it. They were like, "Oh yeah, it would be better if Hassan wasn't on the fucking platform. It'd be better if Hassan wasn't talking politics on the platform."
There we go. Now we got some real money rolling in.
People I used to watch, they were like, some of your viewers were crying about you legit.
Okay,
I know.
we
A
leave
concerted
this. The rest of the
effort
stuff
to
we don't need.
Tremendous amounts of damage. Yeah, Ethan tried to briefly sue Shonda Black. Yeah, look, because Snark and the two disgraced journalists are unwilling to swallow their pride, it looks like the lawsuit against Sean will be moving forward. So I'm, in an act of unimaginable grace, I'm prepared to make one final offer. If Hassan donates 25 grand to each of their GoFundMes, I will tear up the Shonda Black complaint that I've already spent several thousands writing. Furthermore, Hassan, any behind-the-scenes donations will be found during discovery, so pretending like you're helping them, BTS works now. But everything will be overturned to us in due time. How'd that work out for you, Ethan? Like, this is what he was doing. Not a single fucking content creator in this sphere ever covered this shit. He was out here daily fucking basis. This was extortion, and it is illegal, by the way. You can't do this. Every day there were like 4 or 5 Instagram stories like this one. Every damn day.
Charge them
It's
with
unbearable.
extortion,
It's
please.
virtually impossible to document the depravity. Okay, he's getting a fraction of the comeuppance, and if he had any integrity, if he still had some
All right, let's go to
semblance
battle.
of humanity that he hasn't lost, he would apologize for all of it. Not to me, I don't give a shit. You don't have to apologize to me, but apologize to every single person whose lives you fucking ruined. Okay? Because he did. He ruined so many lives, dude. Frivolous copyright lawsuit. It wasn't until both of these events that Ethan began offering to drop his defamation. Bill DeFranco covered this. Yeah, he covered some of it. Did you know he was laying a trap for Lawfare to sue you and then decide not to watch? I mean, I had my suspicions in lawsuits in exchange for an apology, of course.
Okay, all of these I want. Look at all the money I got. That's great. So we want revenge. We want crit chance. Let's leave the health alone.
And there's another part to this that I think is worth
Yeah.
discussing, which is how Ethan's reputation has also taken hits due to his support for
Screw it. Let's do it. There we go.
has ruined some of his personal and
I have so much money that I just burning a hole in my pocket. I'm just like, sure. 60 doesn't sound so bad right now.
Creators, friends.
If you look at the trends in views and subscribers, there's been a demonstrable drop since October of 2023. Former fans of H3 are leaving and have spoken about the sort of rampant Zionism in that community. Apparently, even just wearing their merch now has an explicit association with the state of Israel. At one point, Ethan may have thought that suing me for criticizing his statements about Israel could change this public perception.
I'd love to see you reason out in a court document about how I and Mudahar support genocide.
Yeah, remember when Mudahar backed away from this too? Because even he was like, this is fucking crazy. Like, this is too much. Because Mudahar was supposed to be in on this lawsuit against Noah Sampson, if you remember. He backed out of it. He was like, nope, I'm not doing this shit. I realize which way the fucking tides have turned.
I look forward to that.
But somewhere along the line, he must have realized that this strategy wouldn't work. When he got the chance to prove me wrong in front of a judge, just like he wanted, he folded. He backed out at the last minute. So here we are. So anyways, super glad this is all over. Ready to get back to making regular videos. I'll update everyone with a post as soon as I can about the GoFundMe situation once that's cleared up. I appreciate everyone who has supported me throughout this whole ordeal, including those who have contributed to the fundraiser and the many creators who were kind enough to join in on the fundraiser stream. That was super cool. And once again, Deborah Drews and her firm Drews Legal. She genuinely saved the day. If you have any legal troubles in the vein of this case, her firm may be interested down the line, so hit them up. Okay, that's it. We're done.
Yeah, here he is crying.
Fucking watch the damn video. Don't let him get away with that, man. You know, it's just pathetic. He won't fucking watch the damn video. Don't let him get away with that, man. You know, it's just pathetic.
Yeah. So yeah, glad. I'm glad that Noah is no longer in the crosshairs. So that's good. There's still a long way to go for restitution. Yeah, this is the power of gray rocking abusers. Yeah, it is. A lot of this stuff is just pure narcissism. A lot of this stuff is pure narcissism. My girlfriend put up her Teddy Fresh hoodie after I showed her some of the content new lol. He can't reopen this lawsuit. It's over. He dismissed it. Yeah, with prejudice. So, it's over. Have you seen H3 sing shock to his kids? Dude's obsessed. Yeah, it's fine. It's pathetic. It was dismissed by the judge with prejudice. With prejudice means a new case with these same conditions cannot be opened. Yeah, he was fucking going crazy. He was going after Philip DeFranco's wife. Philip DeFranco's wife is in the comment section of a deranged snarker on TikTok. Nice look, guys. Don't tap me. I'm feeling like a messy bitch right now.
I grew up with brothers who controlled what went on the TV, so I watched YouTube my entire childhood, and it has been super interesting to watch people who were once really big on YouTube and where they are now. And one of those people for me is Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein of H3H3 Productions used to have some value, used to have some worth. In fact, at one point, I felt like he was being a champion for free and fair use rights on YouTube. He has had just a consistent crash downward, and now I dare to say that he has reached rock bottom, at least in my book.
Yeah, it's just I just like.
All right, I think he's been doing pretty good.
Yeah, he never went after Philip, of course.
Armor isn't quite what I'd
Even though
like.
Philip DeFranco did offer some coverage to what was going on every now and then. The reason he filed to dismiss with prejudice is to avoid having to pay for Noah's lawsuit. The case was that bad, he would have lost the slap motion. Yeah. I think a big part of him dropping it is because if he lost this case, I think one more, he could be marked as a vexatious litigant. I don't think the timeline adds up. I don't think he's lost that many lawsuits. I think it has to be 7 in a short period of time, right? I don't know the exact details of this, but like, yes, Ethan Klein was close to testing the boundaries of the California legal system. Is it 5 in 7 years or 7 in 5 years? Yeah, and also in order to be a vexatious litigant, I think you have to also self-represent. So if you just have like a lawyer, which he's not, again, I don't know the full details. I'm not a fucking YouTube lawyer, and YouTube lawyers don't really know the details either. Let's be real, as evidenced by the fact that so many of them celebrated every single one of these decisions. You know, Asmongold, the number one YouTube lawyer, that pervert legal, whatever the fuck his name is, legal mindset. There's a couple of these like YouTube lawyers. I'm not legal. Legal's awesome. I'm talking about all these other fucking weirdos that are insanely right wing, and they all
Time stream reward.
Bullshit. I hope
Yes.
covers it at one point. That'd be great. I don't think he will. I don't know where his I don't know where he's at on some of this stuff, but knowingly filing frivolous lawsuits against the rules of professional conduct. Yeah, I mean,
My defense
yeah,
is up.
maybe you could get his West Bank lawyer disbarred potentially. YouTube lawyers know about the same amount of the law as you. Yeah, that's just so ridiculous. There is also 2 videos that I've been meaning to watch specifically on this issue for those who are who have lives who haven't been paying attention to like Ethan Klein's behavior over the last 2 years or so, almost 3 years now. One is Kaya's Corner, right? Is it Kaya's Corner, the fan channel that made a video about the true legacy of Ethan Klein? Is that? And then there's also the Kilotonics video that's very good as well. The Kilotonics one actually covers a lot of the the other bad faith actors. It's 4 hours long though, almost. That one covers like. This one is more so focused on Hassan Bad, the Weasley Little Liar Awards. It more so covers the entirety of the commentary sphere and like a lot of the Ethan Klein's like allies and orbiters, and how they just have for the last 3 years deployed the fuck Hassan route every single time they've been outed as like sex criminals or perverts or pedophiles or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like there is an entire genre of content creators out there that constantly get into trouble, sometimes legal trouble, sometimes trouble in the courts. And anytime their audience is like, what the fuck are you doing? This is insane. They'll be like, well, Hassan is worse. Also known as the Epstein method. It's a parachute for some of the worst scumbags on the internet who have absolutely destroyed the commentary sphere. These guys aren't exactly fans of mine either, like the Kilotonics guy. They're not. I don't think that they're fans of mine at all. And they certainly used to be haters of mine for the longest time. I think many of these guys actually come from
Okay.
the Destiny Orbiter community.
This could be
And
going
they
better.
used to be Orbiters of Destiny, and then they realized that he was a real piece of shit who was kind of using the fuck us on method to get away with doing actual fucking criminal shit.
Okay.
Check my logs. I've been trying to show you. This explains how this genre.
I don't like this, but let's give it a shot. Well, that was the end of that video. It was a little awkward how they ended it because it wasn't a real video. It was like just taken off of a. How do I do this? Can't figure out. Hold on a second. All right, I figured it out. Ex friends parody. Here's AI. Yeah, I'm turning this off. Nope, 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 nope. Hold on. I'm back.
Hi there, hello. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm not sporty, all right? In fact, if I were to be one of the Spice Girls, I'd be like a baby or a ginger. I played hockey for 12 years like a good little Canadian boy, but I don't know anything about sports-related things today. And even I am able to identify that this is dumb. Now, just a warning, this video is going to contain a lot of slapping, but I'd rather not show a bunch of violence on my channel. There are kids here. There's one right there. It's fast as hell. There's another one right behind you. You see it too, right? So I've crafted some lovely assets for my editor, Johnny, to use for violent censorship purposes. If you haven't heard of Power Slap, your algorithm has probably identified you as a more sophisticated human than I, because once in a while during my doom scrolling, I'll just see two dudes slapping each other, but like in a professionally produced way. It's a sport that's taken the world by storm, featuring a whole bunch of athletes. When you have an editor, you can add air quotes in post. My fingers have never felt so rested. I would argue that Power Slap is not so much a sport as it is an outlet for guys who really wanted to be in the UFC, but instead of training in martial arts, they accidentally got really into heavy drinking. Here's how Power Slap works. Two competitors take turns slapping each other, and that's kind of it. They do have some rules, to be fair, because Power Slap is
Man, this level is too hard.
as a regulated combat sport in the United States. So I imagine
I'm gonna do it
because
for
of
time.
regulations, they have to be like, hey, no stabbing or nothing.
We'll do one more
When you do
quick
the slaps,
go.
no Assassin's Creed to hit his blades. All right, we're doing GoldenEye style over here, slappers only. Here are the actual rules according to the official Power Slap website, which is a website that some poor web guy had to make. 1v1, striker and defender. So so only soccer players can play this, if I'm understanding that rule correctly. Which I'm not. Coin toss to see who strikes first. Good rule. It's got to be a coin. Paper money would just float down. Clock. 60 seconds to recover and return a slap. Just a suggestion from me. That's a good opportunity to say a cool line like, looks like this slap's getting returned to sender, or something. I don't know. Be creative with it. Divisions. Men's and women's. Men's is the plural of men. Did you know that? Weight classes. Same as okay. Don't talk about my mom. Finishes. Points, KO, TKO, DQ. Oh! Sounds like for one of the finishes, you get to go to Dairy Queen. That doesn't sound so bad. Rounds, 3 to 5. What determines if it's 3, 4, or 5? It doesn't say. There's very minimal text here because if you're browsing the Power Slap website, You're probably not really into reading. Scoring, slap damage and effectiveness, and defender reaction/recovery. I don't know how you give points for a reaction. Maybe if you get turned into a reaction GIF, you get extra points. I don't know. Reviews, replay official. I don't know. I guess an official watches a replay. Could have used a few more words on that one. Fouls, clubbing, stepping, illegal windup, and flinching. Oh, they don't mention. Okay, maybe stabbing is allowed. So those are the rules. The flinching thing is probably the hardest part of Power Slap. It is human evolution that when a person of your same weight class looks like they're about to slap you, you do one of these. Yeah, this is survival right here. That's what you're telling
Poison
your brain
spread.
to shut off. That's not easy to do. And actually, to make sure they don't full body flinch or start blocking slaps like Neo, it seems like the players hold a stick or a towel behind their back, and that keeps their silly little hands occupied. Here's what training looks like for power slappers, and keep in mind, I didn't look this up at all, so you can trust that it's true. Feelings don't care about your facts, but this is probably how it goes. So practicing slapping, that's as easy as picking up a couple of melons and slapping them a bunch of times. You can use pretty much any melon you want, watermelon, cantaloupe. Not honeydew though, that has a cute name and makes me feel bad for it. It's like if you accidentally step on a ladybug. Oh, that one had a cute name. Oh no. And practicing getting slapped is even more straightforward. All you gotta do is say something suggestive to a classy lady in an old saloon. Now, Power Slap had a TV show on TBS, and people didn't really watch it. My theory is because it sucked and it was not very good and not fun to watch. Because you see, a slap lasts about a second, but 1 second long TV shows aren't very advertiser friendly. Probably why my TV show Guy in a Hat got canceled. I got a hat. I got a hat. So in an episode of Power Slap, you've got all this filler of guys who are about to be slapping each other, trying their best to look like they're good at slapping. You've got announcers desperately trying to fill the silence with slap-related observations. There's only so much you can say, and it's not super compelling stuff. Here comes Slapper 1. He's good at slapping, but also he can get slapped pretty well. And then he's up against another person who, get this, is good at slapping. And to take a slap. So the TBS Power Slap show lasted a season, but those long-form Power Slap videos continue on the Power Slap YouTube channel. And based on their numbers, I can pretty confidently say that more people will watch this video than their recent episodes. Always happy to shout out small creators. Keep on going. But you'll recall earlier in this video, I said that Power Slap has taken the world by storm. What am I, a liar? No. I'm not, because you see, Power Slap thrives in the world of short little vertical videos. Those are the perfect format for this kind of thing, and that's where they're killing it. Look at those numbers, almost 500 million views on their most popular YouTube short alone. Hundreds of millions over on their TikTok as well. It turns out that the brain rottiest of video formats is the perfect home for the brain damagiest form of fighting. It's a match made in heaven, a version of heaven that's kind of into gratuitous violence, but still heaven. According to the guy who runs Power Slap, they get like 1 billion views per month on their socials, and thus advertisers are paying them a lot of money. Say, slap my logo on that guy's chest so people see it when he gets slapped in the face. That'll be good for business. And who runs Power Slap? It's exactly who you'd expect. UFC CEO and part-time White House event organizer Dana White. Stay out of politics, which makes sense. If there's anyone who knows slapping, it's Dana White. Not because of the UFC, because of this video of him and his wife slapping each other in public during an argument. Kind of a weird move to launch Power Slap the same year that video comes out. If I was his publicist, I would have suggested, hey Dana, maybe we launch Power like hugging this year, or like Power volunteer work, and we revisit slapping next year. Or maybe the move was to muddle the search results, so when you look up Dana White slap, you can't. What is really going on here, you know? Anyway, huge slapping fan Dana White is the man behind Power Slap, and he's the one making a ton of money off of people slapping each other.
Power Slap is the most successful thing I've ever been a part of. Power Slap is a beast.
Power Slap apparently has a $750 million valuation. Hey, that's a lot of millions, Dana. Surely you're sharing that wealth with the slappers, Dana, or why would they slap each other? Well, former UFC fighter Eric Spicely said he was offered a contract to compete in Power Slap, but he said no because it was for an initial pay offer of just $2,000 to show up and another $2,000 if he wins. Hey, that doesn't sound like such a bad deal. All you got to do is take a couple of slaps, get a couple of grand. That ain't bad. Although experts at University Pittsburgh School of Medicine analyzed 333 different slap fights, they looked at them and they said it looked like a about 80% of contestants showed visible signs of concussion. That's like a 20% chance that you don't get concussed. You're in the locker room after the slap fight, and there's 4 other guys in there. There is a chance that you're the one who doesn't have a concussion. Except there are only 2 other guys in there with you. You're seeing double. You have a concussion. In one of the slap fights I watched on YouTube while prepping this video, the guy got slapped so hard that he couldn't see out of his left eye anymore, and so the other guy won by default. Does $2,000 cover detached retina surgery in the US? Somebody ask that guy, because he definitely knows the answer one way or another. Also, that video was removed since I watched it. Is it because it showed a guy blinding another guy? Maybe. And I do kind of feel that people who are willing to risk brain damage for $2,000 really need that $2,000. So I'm a little conflicted on this, because this feels pretty exploitative, but I also really like knowing that Dana White's doing well. You know, nothing cheers me up like that. Look at this picture of Dana smiling. He's doing so well.
First 2 years, he'd have more sponsorship than the UFC did in 10 years.
Dana White defends Power Slap by saying,
If you don't like it, there's a simple solution to this problem. Mind your business.
I can't not watch it, Dana. My algorithm knows that my caveman brain is sometimes morbidly curious about people getting slapped. Dana also says they have doctors present during the slaps. But I assume that's in the same way they used to have doctors present at duels. Did the doctors turn around so they can have deniability? All that to say, I think we need a new sport to take that mainstream spot, but it needs to be dumb too, where people won't latch on. And I think I found the perfect one. This is the real point of this video. Sharks, today I'd like to introduce you to car curling. Car curling is the peak of human ingenuity, and I think it should be the new global social media word of the sport. That didn't come out. Car curling was invented when a guy was curling.
I'm done after this. I really don't even care if I win or not. I'd like to win, though. Let's win.
Yes, this was a former Power Slap competitor, so his brain didn't work so good no more, and he just kind of said stuff. But in this case, it wasn't total gibberish, and it was kind of a good idea. You see, how do I explain this? Car curling is curling with cars, which is the perfect thing. It also seems pretty safe because the cars are going at fairly slow speeds. I mean, there's maybe the potential of slipping and getting run over by one of the cars, but you know what? In car curling, you'd be able to flinch about it. And best of all, we, the audience, we get to watch car crashes and not be sad about them. Was that a good shot? I don't care. The car went into the other car, and I am satisfied. There also seems to be a version where you drive the car, but I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of a car curling purist, and this seems a little flashy for my taste. But then again, if car curling with steering keeps this woman off the streets, I think that's great. Who knows what kind of messed up stuff she'd be doing if she didn't have this outlet for her rage. Also, hey, winner gets to high five a dinosaur. Thank you for listening, and please consider car curling as the next dumb thing. Good night, and good luck. Starring David Strathairn. That's a slap. All done. Hey, Disembodied Head here. Thanks for watching that video. If you want more stuff, you can subscribe to the channel or join us over on Patreon, where nothing weird is happening at all. I'm a Disembodied Head, so you can trust me. You can trust me.
Whew, going through some emotional stuff right now. Okay, let's just finish this off. Gonna put the music back on. I think we should win this probably, but who knows? It's hard to say. So I guess there's nothing else to do except fight. I should have switched out the money pouch at this point. The money pouch is definitely no longer useful. Okay, I feel like it's going okay. Yeah, it's going really well. We did it. We won again. More XP. All right. That's it. I can't do the tournament anymore, right? Yeah, we can't. We're not gonna get another free ticket. All right, I guess we're done. That's all, folks. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment. Love you guys. Bye bye. Save recent gameplay full video.